The recording is going. We've got the chat open. You have any comments, questions while we go? Keeg is here to answer questions, and we are ready to rock and roll. Yeah, Whiskey is here, and he is quite gassy, so if you hear us starting to gasp and run out of the room real quick, he's all riled up right now, too. He's having some issues, poor guy. All right, these are 5 steps to becoming an older adult expert. These are not the 5 steps, they are 5 steps. And what I mean by that is, get out of here. What I mean by that is, there are many ways to be successful in this industry. And in 25 years of doing this, this is some strategies, and these are some ways to be successful doing this. And the idea of sharing a lot of the thoughts and the things we're going to give you today, and Keeg will be able to chime in here too as we go along, is to inspire some conversation, to give you some direction, to give you some thoughts, to invoke inspiration, whatever you want to call it. But just know that this is not like, well, I have to do step 1 and then step 2. These are just a list of things that have helped us be successful. We are going to share some of our offerings as well. So if we are able to assist you at some point, please feel free to, to look us up and go on the website and all that good stuff. You can reach out anytime. We are here to basically have a really good discussion and get some ideas behind this awesome business of ours, why things are the way they are and how we can be more successful. And what I mean by why they are the way they are, we're going to start right here. If you would please, I want to make sure the chat was working. In the chat, if you would throw in a comment as to why you think people leave the fitness industry. This is personal trainers, fitness coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, etc. Why do you think they leave? Okay, go ahead while I'm talking here. Just throw a thought or two in the chat for us, and Keeg will do a little, she'll shoot an answer out and throw out a couple of those as we go. We definitely have some components to this. And what's that?
Poor pay. Do you want me to throw them out now?
Poor pay. Oh yeah, as they come about. Sure, you can yell them out.
Poor marketing.
Poor pay, poor marketing, insufficient income. Yep, these are all good ones. Yep, keep them coming. Money, 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 money. Yeah, so you guys nailed it. Unstable income is really a challenge for our profession. Coaches, we have a hard time. Personal trainers have a hard time. If you don't have like an overflow of clientele and you have a consistent flow of income, it's really hard to budget. It's hard to operate a business at that level because you don't really know how much money you have to work with every month. We have seen some business models that start to shift, like the one that we operate as well, where we don't charge people per the session. We charge them per month. And some months they get, depending on how many days they're scheduled to come, they get 9 workouts instead of 8, or they might get 13 workouts instead of 12. They always get their bare minimum, and we have online offerings that fill in if they are ever missing. So that's where clients, I'm going to go on vacation for 2 weeks. And we're like, well, we are still providing you plenty of workouts. We have virtual options, you have logins, you have all kinds of stuff. So that's where a model like that might be more successful, but a lot of people still out there, it's like every 12, I got to text my client, hey, remember to bring in payment tomorrow. Like it's still kind of old school when it comes to that.
Have job stability.
Yeah, job stability is a big one because we might see like a coach or a trainer working at 2 or 3 different locations because they can't find a stable flow of income at any of them. So they've got to do a little bit of part-time at each one. Challenging clients is another one that we've definitely seen where we have a hard time with some of the people that we're working with. We have inconsistent work schedules, the old dreaded split shift. How many of you are doing that? You could put a little virtual hand raise up on there for me if you want to. The dreaded split shift is that, 5 to 11 a.m. and then you come back from 3 until 8 or 9. Yeah, I got a couple of those popping up. So yeah, that's hard. You, at some point, I did it too. 99 until 2009. So 10 years I worked that split shift and eventually got to a point where I was able to look at my schedule and offer all of my afternoon clients spots in the morning, and was willing to take that loss knowing that some of them might not come. But I had enough clientele built up to where I could do that. And basically I'd work until like 1 every day and then I would be quote unquote done and be able to work on other projects or take on other things, that kind of thing. That split shift is really difficult because you're still trying to strike when the iron's hot and when people want to be trained, et cetera. But it's hard to fill, if you're only doing one-on-ones especially, it's hard to fill, 6 or 7 hours in the morning and say, well, I'm good now. I have a career. I can make $100,000 a year, not with 7 clients. You can't, right? So we definitely have some issues there.
Unable to secure clients.
Unable to secure clients. Yeah. And we'll talk about, there's the always be selling and all that, always be closing, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that and just finding some consistency in being able to have a clientele that you can build a career off of. The career progressions is another one too. Like you might come in as a floor supervisor doing orientations and then you get promoted to a personal trainer. Maybe there's a head personal trainer in your future. And then after that, that's kind of it. Like you could become the director, the fitness director, and may or may not train anymore. You get more management. But outside of that, that's kind of it. Unless you go and open your own spot. There's not a whole lot of steps to progress. And there's not a whole lot of retirement plans and health care and benefits and everything else that comes. And then that leads to burnout. So we've got all kinds of issues. And we've just kind of pointed out a couple of those here as we go. And yet at the same time, if you look at the chart, the 20th fastest growing industries, we're number 8. Right there. I know that's very tiny typing there, but it says other personal services right there. Personal training, lawn care technicians, and your dog groomer. We're all thrown into the same group. But those quote unquote other services.
Did you say lawn care technician?
Lawn care technician, it says, yes.
Wow,
and we are estimated to grow over the next 10 years or so, another almost 30%. So we are one of the fastest growing professions. But what they don't show you is we're one of the fastest declining as well, because we don't really teach people how to stay in the profession. So that's where one of these types of webinars really gets its purpose from, is to be able to share some of that stuff with all of you. And we get someone, let's see, who was that? Gil, that just put up here, been working at the same place for 23 years. Is that our Gil? Is that Gil? I wonder, 23 years. Is that Gil? Are you our Gil? You know what that means if you... We've known a Gil for a long time here.
Are you an
and I'm wondering if that's our Gil. If so, that's awesome. I'm pumped you're on here. If not, whoever Gil you are, we're happy you're here too. No, not our Gil. All right. We still love you, Gil. You're our Gil now. Let's go with that. Okay. Why do the clients leave? Let's go into that one now. Open up your chats. Everybody play along here. Why do the clients leave? Let's throw some comments in there. And you see, here's the 7 big mistakes that people make when they're hiring a personal trainer. And this kind of gives you a couple of hints onto them, like, oh, it's too much money, or, they don't do money back guarantees. Like if you don't like the training, then just stop. You don't need a money back guarantee, in my opinion. I think that's one of those pitchy things too that's kind of run its course. I think that one's probably, if I'm doing a year-long investment and I do the first month and I don't like it, then maybe that's something that you have to guarantee.
But money back guarantee. That kind of ran its course. I do feel that has shifted towards one of those red flags.
Yeah, that used to be a big thing, and now money back guarantees are kind of like, you're shady.
Yeah.
Like, why are you offering a guarantee if this product is good, right? Yeah.
I hear you.
Too expensive, sessions not convenient for them. Yeah, hey, nailed it right away. Yeah, those are 2 that are on the list here too. Good job, Lisa. All right, financial restraints, that's a big one as we see there. The trainer-client fit. So I put client trainer. You could also do trainer client, because when you're doing that, initial assessment, that first, meet and greet, back in the day, like when I started, anyone that walked in the door that wanted training, I was training them, right? Then you kind of get to a point where you're like, there's a couple of my people that I train, like I don't really look forward to. I had a terrible Tuesday. If you've been on my webinars before, you might know the story, but I had a client that I absolutely loved training her. She came in like 2 to 3 days a week. And after maybe 2 years, she bought her husband 12 sessions with me. And he was coming in every Tuesday night at like 8 o'clock. So he was my last session on Tuesday. And he was a miserable human being. I mean, he did not want to be there. This is the last thing that he wanted. And she was making him come. And so he was such a miserable dude while he was there. He wouldn't talk to me. All he wanted to do was ride the spin bike and bench press. That was it. That's all he wanted to do. So if I asked him to do anything outside of that, he would just look at me and say no. And then he would walk around the gym. I mean, it sucked. So after our third one, my clients on Monday started to recognize I was in a bad mood, like Monday morning, just thinking about my Tuesday night guy. And then after Tuesday night, I'd be really happy the rest of the week. But it started to affect me like Sunday morning. I started getting upset about this. And finally, when we met for our fourth one, Ruth was the one that was just like, what's going on with you? Like, you are not acting normal. She's the one that brought it to my attention. Ruth, I've been training for 20 plus years now. And so when he came back for his fourth session, he walks in and I said, client, I won't say his name, here is a gift card for the remainder of your sessions that you purchased with me. I bought you a massage for right now with some of your own money. You're booked. Go downstairs and do that now. This just isn't working out. I really appreciate it, but thank you, and I wish you the best. Dude hugged me, like straight up was like, oh, thank you. I hate coming here. I'm like, I totally get it. I could tell, right? I could tell you did not like it. And he was so happy that I dismissed. So then I was like, all right, that wasn't worth the $65 or whatever I was making to put up with that miserable minute by minute, experience. This was way better for everybody. So it's got to be a good fit. And that's where, when you do your initial assessment, when you're doing your initial screen, it's not, is the client a good fit for me? It's, am I a good fit for the client too? This has got to be a handshake deal where you're meeting in the middle. It's not just like, I'm taking anybody that comes in the door. Maybe in the beginning you have to do that, but not when you start to get a little more established. Clients can continue to get injured and eventually really start to blame you for everything. Let's see. Darnell just messaged and he says he does not have access to the webinar. He signed up for it, but he can't get on. You want to help him out there? Darnell's a good buddy of mine, served on the board with him, so I want to make sure he gets on. He messaged me yesterday. He was all excited about this. Lack of progress. Clients just really having a hard time and not able to make the gains that they want. They're just not motivated. Sometimes they just quit there. They don't have any faith in you as a coach. Sometimes they just get to the point where they're like, yeah, this isn't really what I expected. And you're not really delivering. And the schedule, like Lisa said, really hard to find a time that works, or the workouts are just boring. We've got a new workout every day. We're always doing something new. We do not repeat the exact same thing. And I want to make sure that our clients are intrigued and inspired by what they're doing. So those are all, fairly good reasons why clients would leave, or they have unrealistic goals, or you have unrealistic goals or expectations for them. That can also kind of put a kink in the wheels there, if you will. All right, team. So now we have an idea of why the trainers don't make it, why the clients don't. We're going to address both of those lists kind of moving forward here. But just to start off with a little bit of a purpose for why we want to do this, I really encourage all of you, and if you've been here for more than, in this industry, I'll say, for more than 5 years, you're already doing this. Because if you've made it this long, and I mean 5 years full time, right? If you're part-time, you have like 6 clients and you train them a couple of times a week, that's awesome. That's great. But if this isn't your primary profession, okay, you've been here for 5 years as your primary profession, then I would tell you, you have quote unquote made it. Like, you're going to be able to stay in this profession for as long as you want to keep doing it. But getting to that 5-year mark is really, really difficult. You good? Yes. Okay. So I encourage you to become a student of this, and you can never stop learning. Like, this is a constant pursuit to finding the best way to train. And the reason I tell you that is the first ever research article published in a public journal for everybody to read and to learn from was in what year? Take a guess. Anybody want to take a guess? First, and you might think like, oh, this goes back to the 1800s. No, it was as little as 1953. Like, we've got 62 years of research, basically 70 years, 62 years, something like that. I'm great at math. Great research opportunities. I think it's 72 now that I'm looking at it. Like, that doesn't seem right. There's more research to be done here for sure. And it's going to be a constant growth of our profession is going to be right now there's a discussion on lengthened partials. There's blood flow restriction. There's, time under tension, eccentric, there's force plates. There's all kinds of different things that are being researched right now that may be a great way to train and may not be a great way to train. But half those things I just mentioned, some of you may never even heard of or haven't heard of until a year or two ago. Like, I didn't know about blood flow restriction until maybe 2 years ago. Like, these are all things that our industry is slowly progressing into. This was not a mindset that came easy to me. And this is a picture that sits right next to me here at my desk. This is my constant reminder And it's a great story, a great memory of mine that I had with my dad. Here's my picture if you're looking at my camera. Same one that's on the screen. Sits right next to me every day that I work. And it's a reminder to me of the experience I had with my dad. I was 13, turning 14, and went down to Walmart in Carson City, Nevada, where we were living, and we lived in Tahoe at the time. And I walked in there, and there is Gene Upshaw and Rod Martin and Lester Hayes and a whole collection, Art Shell, a whole collection of Raiders, and they were all there signing autographs. And I went through the line, and I got to meet everybody. And Rod Martin was the only one that actually kind of sat and talked with me a little bit. And he goes, "So you play football?" I said, "Yes, left tackle, this and that." And he goes, "So how are your grades?" And I said, "They're not great." And he goes, "Why?" He was kind of shocked. And I said, "Well, I'm just really into football. I throw the discus. I like being an athlete more than I like being a student." And he goes, "Have you realized yet that if you are not eligible, you are going to let all those teammates down? You are not going to be able to continue to participate in sport." And, when you're 13, 14, you're still kind of figuring your things out. And I was a late bloomer, obviously, with my 62 years of math. I'm really good at education. The mindset right away for me was wait a minute, I had never really thought of it that way. I was doing just enough to stay eligible as opposed to, thriving in the educational aspect. And I really changed my mindset from that moment on. Rod really helped me kind of see that. I had a very good mentor in high school too, David Atherton. I always give him a lot of credit for giving me a ride home one day and just laying it to me. He's like, "Dude, you're dropping the ball here. Education is really important." And Rod even wrote it on here. "Happy 14th birthday." I was Bob at the time. "Education is the key to success, to be the best." And that is something that I take to heart very much. So when I encourage you to quote unquote be a student and continue to strive and pursue your knowledge, your quest of excellence here and mastering this profession, it's through education. Everything that we're going to be focused on here is going to be towards education. All right. The first tip, the first step, one of the ones I'm going to give you here is called earning a spot at the table. And what that means is in your pursuit of this, you're going to look at research, you're going to look at publications, you're going to have all kinds of different certifications and certificates to go out there and earn. You're going to have internships, mentorship programs. There's all kinds of textbooks, online education, deep dives, courses, conferences. What you want to do is earn your spot at a table that has the elite level of experts at every single section, every single part, every asset of our profession. And you want to keep that spot forever, which means you've been there, you've done that, and you're still doing it. I steal that line from Alan Cosgrove. He talks about that all the time. You can be a great coach right now, and you can be doing these great practices, and things can be going very well. And if you don't continue to practice that skill set and continue to improve, the industry is going to leave you behind. We're growing too quickly. So there's our TOA spot at the table. Well, right next to that's high intensity training and high intensity resistance training. And then you've got strength and conditioning, and you've got sports performance and CrossFit and strongman and Olympic lifting and high school strength coach and boot camps and tactical strength and conditioning and bodybuilding. And then you have your physical therapy and your correctives. And so there's a lot there. If you are at a table with an expert, okay, in each one of these areas, I want you to be able to stay at the table. And what that means is you don't have to be an expert and teach people how to do the sport of strongman, but you should know enough about it that when they start talking about an Atlas stone or a farmer carry or a truck pull or the Husafeld stone, you should recognize those things and go, okay, I could stay here at the table. I have an idea of what's going on here. When they start talking about programming for bodybuilding and when we want to do strip sets and teardowns, you should be able to stay at that table. And so you want to be a well-rounded individual. And in many opportunities, we're going to talk about funneling that skill all the way down to, well, I'm an older adult expert, but you've got to have all the basic foundational pieces. You've got to know all those things to have them funnel down to that expertise. You can't spend all your time at the top of the pyramid without climbing up the bottom steps. You've got to earn that right all the way up. So something I like to do is when we do a goal setting sheets is I will write down all these areas, anything else that I can think of too, that's like a well-rounded coach should have, a well-rounded trainer should have blank. And you have all the things on there. Where am I weak at? I'm not great at flexibility, mobility, and correctives. Well, maybe that's something I should go learn about this year. I'm not great at power and dynamic and mobility training, right? Maybe I should go learn about that. Maybe I could take an internship on public speaking because I'm not good at getting up in front of the group and instructing everyone without ums and uhs and all my idiosyncrasies and those connecting words that are just fillers, right? Like learning the beauty of the pause and how it draws out drama, right? Learning all those things. I'm doing a free public speaking course right now with Simon Sinek on his YouTube right now, and just learning different strategies about being better on stage. And so we're always in this pursuit of learning. And you want to fill in the areas where you're maybe not so great at, but you keep your spot at the table. Yes, ma'am.
I would argue when I look at this list of what you put together here, and maybe you put this together this way because of this, that all of these pieces make up TOA. That if you look at each one of these...
My wife is jumping the gun.
Oh.
It's all good. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You just told her, hey, the Titanic sinks, everybody.
I'm sorry.
It's cool, babe. It's all good. Yeah, it's okay. I got you. All right, so that's number one.
Can you be proud of me though?
I'm an excellent teacher, and it led you right into it. I'm taking all the credit. Yes, great job, honey. All right. So that's step number one, is become a student of your craft, right? Never stop learning, earn your spot at the table. All right, number two is never forget the mission. And this is another one here that when I was brainstorming with Keegan this morning, it was like one of the first, I said, what else am I missing for the webinar today? And she goes, well, you know the line. And she does a little old man and like a piece and a fist bump. And I was like, and that's kind of my, my representation from my dad. Your current client is your best client. And my dad said that all the time. Your current clients are your most important clients. You cannot forget about the people that you currently have in pursuit of going after more individuals. And so ignoring your current clientele is obviously not good for the client. They're not going to love the idea of like, well, now that I'm here, I don't seem to be getting the attention and the energy that I was receiving from my coach in the first couple of weeks. Now I'm just kind of I'm just a part of the cycle, and I'm not really getting anything personalized or feeling like I'm being paid attention to. So we're going to talk about strategies on how you do that here in a minute. But this is a good line I want you to remember is those who don't feel seen will soon be out of sight. Right? Like if they are not recognizing that they are being featured, I made that up. I swear to God, I did. I made that up last night.
Somebody could have said it before you, but in this moment, you did not look it up. You've pulled that.
I made that. I thought that sounded very good. That's good, right? You guys like that? Everybody like that? Thank you. Those who do not feel seen will soon be out of sight.
62 years, I was questioning.
In my 72 years of doing this, geez, I'm great at math. Yeah, that's my quote. Quote me. Dad did, the one above, but that's me. All right. So to bring attention onto folks, right? This is something that we really want to encourage all of you. Now, I know we've got Fit Body coaches on here too. So I'm going to talk about both kind of strategies in here because you should recognize a few of these, right? Number one is remembering their name and their birthday, not their start date. That's a different one, right? We have like the fitness birth date. You'll see that in a minute, but their birth date, super important. Every year I get Keegan to make me a sign of all of our current clients and our affiliates and our mentees, everybody we're working with, all their birthdays. And I'm like, I'm not going to miss one this year. And I start going down the line. I'm like January, February, March, and I get to April and I miss somebody almost every single year. So I'm taking a different strategy in my schedule book this year. I'm hoping it's working. So far, I'm doing okay, except I missed Jerry Knapp. So I guess I already screwed it up this year. I know I miss Jerry's. I screw him and Susan up. I always put them backwards. Yeah. And so I told him happy birthday on hers and he was like, mine was 2 days ago. So I screwed up. Anyhow, remembering their kid's name and their spouse's name. The spouse especially, I know you might be like, I have 100 clients and each one of them have 2.5 kids. So that's like 250 people I got to remember. That's difficult. I get it. At least the spouse, like listening to them talk about their significant other, because anytime we do anything that's going to be a lunch for learning or a free workout or a community food drive or anything, we're going to say, hey, Keegan, what's Rob up to this weekend? And does he want to come down for the free workout? And instead of, do you have anybody you want to bring? What's your husband's name? Like, you want to be able to, number one, you're remembering their person and you're personally inviting them down, right? Things like that go a long way. Now, remembering their fitness birthday, their start date, that's a big one too. Like Ruth and I just had our 21st year anniversary. Linda and I have our 21st birthday coming up on June 4th. And let's see, who else? Elizabeth, September 7th. So I've got 3 this year of 20 plus years. Bob's coming up on 19. Like I remember these folks because they were all like my first generation at the country club. The first year that I worked, these were my initial clients. And luckily still have the opportunity to keep working with them. I had 14 clients that first year and 11 of them still train with me. So we're closing in on, 20 years with a lot of these folks. Using their name during the workout. Super important. Fit body coaches, you know this one 3 times, right? Every coach has got to say their name, at least a client's name, at least 3 times during the workout. This makes them feel seen because those who do not feel seen
are soon out of sight.
Will soon be out of sight. That's right. And remembering their best lifts and their PRs. This is one of those things too. Like I could go through the Chicago Bears and you could say number 1, I'd give you a bear that wore number 1 and number 2, number 3, like one of those useless things. In this case, it's very useful. I can know if you said a client's name and what their lift is, I can tell you how heavy they can lift. And you're like deadlift for Ruth, sets of 8. I'm like 135. I know exactly what they can. I've got it all dialed in my head. I know most people can't do that. You got to write it down, but writing that down, logging it, put it into their phone and their file, whatever. Have an idea of those. And when we go for new PRs, right, then remind them, hey, today was a huge success. Do photos, post about it. So this is all highlighting what an expert you are, that your client's having this great success. So you want to highlight that. And nothing about that says, I'm a great coach. That you let the client's success do the speaking for you. This client's doing great and they're doing great again and they're doing great again. Wow, Ruth is crushing it. What's the secret? Well, the secret's me, right? The one behind the scenes giving the good programming, but she's got to be here doing the work. So I don't need to really promote me. I need to show that Ruth is kicking ass. And if people keep seeing that over and over again, they'll do the math and be like, oh, if I want to have good success, after blowing out my knee and breaking my kneecap and coming back and being another national level champion in masters downhill ski, I need to go to that guy. That's the guy that's going to take care of me, right? And so you share that stuff. You share all their personal best, their assessment scores too. We're going to show you our assessment here in a minute. And feel free to utilize this. This is one of our things that we offer out. And the assessment scores, we want people to know they've gotten better over 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, okay? Recognizing their physical limitations. You cannot reach your arm to 180 degrees, and now you can. We could not squat down and touch your toes, all these little things. You could not get up and down off the floor in less than 8 seconds. Now you can do it in 3. These are all big. The handwritten note goes a long way and it's almost dead. Like we have our kids at a school right now where they're teaching cursive, but in most public schools, they're not doing that anymore, which means like people are going to print a card if they write one. If not, it's a text, it's an email, or it's a typed letter. Like the handwritten cursive print block, I write like a typewriter. It's all capitals, like it's dark, that's how my dad wrote too. I am my dad's son in that way. It's like doctor writing, but it's legible, right? But they recognize like this was not just a typed letter that I might be copy pasting to all my clients and sending out. This is a handwritten note that says, "Dear Linda, thank you for 21 years of training with me. I love our relationship. You're a sweetheart. We think of you as family. Love the Linkuls." And sending that, and that goes a long way for client retention. These are the things that our clients share with other people. Like I got a handwritten letter from my client. I get a Christmas card from my client every year with a carved ornament, a wood carved ornament that we do by hand right here. Just kidding. We get them printed, but they're really cool. We had a kettlebell one year. We did like a ball this year, right? Like an ornament ball. It's got our logo on it, this stuff. They love it. We gave him coffee cups in the past, and like wine bottle openers and tote bags and all kinds of cool stuff. We give them something every year. We want them to be proud of what we do and to wear our t-shirts and put stickers on their car. And we want TOA stuff everywhere. We want Fit Body Forever stuff everywhere. We want people to recognize and be proud of all this. So the handwritten note, all those personal things go a long way.
And think about too is like go to Target, get one big box of cards. I mean, how many clients do you have? Let's just say you have that. You can spend $20, get a massive amount of cards. You have one for every single person that year. Just write it for them for their birthday, whatever it is, kind of thing.
Their
Like,
fitness
it's not
birthday.
a big investment. You buy all of them at the beginning of the year, you set them on your desk or whatever, and you write them out.
Even like, hey, it's 60 days. We've been together for 2 months. Like, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Here's a movie ticket. You know, like just little thank yous go a long way. We'll go on a trip. Keegan and I are about to go to Iceland, and I have like 2 or 3 clients where I know I've been before. Luckily, I've had a chance to go and teach there before. And I know of a couple of shops where I'm like, there's a gift here that I want to be able to bring back for one of my clients that I know will mean something to them. So it doesn't have to be a big expensive gift. Just the thought that I brought this back for you from Iceland, like that's a big deal, a way to connect with people where they feel seen. Okay. And that's really what all of these personal components really come down to, is celebrating their accomplishments, making them feel recognized. This will keep them a part of your life, a part of your regular schedule forever, right? What happened?
Did anybody else just lose them there for a minute?
We back? Everybody okay? Yeah, I saw it click off real quick. I don't know what happened. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody online good? Thumbs up? Darnell got on? Okay, good. Darnell's on a couple of times. Okay, we got hands up. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to keep rolling. Okay.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was on. Last row, first column there, 5 minutes of kindness. This is one of my faves. I've been doing this a long time, probably close to 20 years now.
You were frozen here. Oh, now you're moving.
I'm good?
What's that?
As long as they're hearing me, that's all that matters.
It says your internet connection's unstable.
My internet connection's unstable?
She said it about me.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's hope everything's good on our end. All right. The 5 minutes of kindness. Again, 20 years of doing this. I take 5 minutes, probably once a week, and I reflect back on the week. And I will text just for 5 minutes. I'll text clients, Ruth, great job on your deadlifts. Your shoulders are getting so much better. We went up 5 pounds. I'm really proud of you. Send. Steve, overhead pressing looked really good today. The shoulder's slowly improving. Let's keep it up. Send. Elaine, let's get out and walk this weekend. I want to make sure you're working on your gait and improving that. Be safe, but let's go. Send. And just encouraging them to be consistent and to stay on top of things is really, really important for us. You just went away again. Is everybody experiencing this? Lisa, give me a comment here. Are we clipping in and out, or is everyone doing okay at home? Things keep clipping in and out here for us. I don't understand. It says I'm fine. Okay, fine here. All right. I'm going to keep rolling then. I don't know what the deal is on this. Looks good. Okay, good. All right. And then sharing success stories, highlights, social media. We'll get to all that here in just a minute. And then your clients' videos and educational opportunities, we'll dive into that here too. All right, the assessment. This is a, did you have a question? No. Okay. The sarcopenia screen is a big one for us. This is one that if you're doing a health and fitness fair, if you're doing a community outreach, chamber of commerce, like anything where you're going to get out and get to be in front of people, this is a great screen to do. It can be done, if you're good at this, it can be done in like less than 5 minutes, okay? So a client walks up. This is a 1-sheet piece. I just cut it in half. You guys can see where the one on the left is the top, the right's the bottom one. They'd be on top of each other, right? So the client walks up. They go, I want to do the screen. Sit down, and you put the pulsometer on their finger right from the get-go. And that way they just walked over, but they haven't done any activity yet because I don't want their heart rate to be up. So they sit down, we give them that, and right away I get their oxygenation level and I get their pulse, their resting pulse. Though they just walked over, we'll just let it read for a couple of seconds. And then right from there, I'm going to write those in on the sheet, and I'm going to circle on the right there. You'll see the little ranges. I'm going to circle the range that they're in just right now to give them a little indicator like, hey, your O's are maybe down at like 96. That's a little bit, these pulsometers have a ±5. So if somebody's 90, we can be concerned. But if they're 94, 95, they still might be 100. It's just not reading super accurate. You can have lotion on your hand and it reads better than if you don't, that kind of thing. So just kind of keep it in mind. If they're at 95, don't panic. But if they're around 90 or lower, that's bad news, okay? And then their pulse, we see the ranges there. Now that they're done, we hand them the dynamometer and we say, go ahead and stand up. and they're right next to the chair. Grab onto this guy, and when I tell you, hold it down at your side and squeeze, but don't let your hand touch your body. You can't squeeze it against your thigh. 3, 2, 1, go. They squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I reset it, go again. Give them 2 tries, maybe 3 if there's nobody waiting in line. Do the other hand. Now you have their grip strength, 2 to 3 attempts on each hand. You record all 3, but circle their highest one. And then on there, male, female, their age bracket, I'm going to go through and circle where their scores are. So let's say their O's are a little low, their pulse is a little high, and their grip strength is super weak on the left and just okay on the right. Then I tell them, go ahead and sit down, and then go ahead and stand up. That's going to be our test. You're going to do that as many times as you can in 30 seconds. Are you ready? They say yes, go. Sit down, stand up. Sit down, stand up. In 30 seconds, they do 9, okay? And then we look at the chart and we're like, ooh, 9's not great unless you're 80, right? Like 9's not a great score, so that's a little low. And then from that chair, they are seated 9.9 feet away, 3 meters. They have a cone. They have to 3, 2, 1, go, stand up, walk around the cone and get back, have a seat in less than 12.5 seconds. Now you might think like that's not all that far and that's pretty slow. Well, some of these folks have such a slow wobbly gait, they can't make it. So that 12.5 second, that marker is your fall risk or not. If they can make it in less than 8 seconds, they're 33% more likely not to fall down. So they're not really a risk at all if they can do it in less than 8 seconds, okay? We will have them do it turning left and then have them do it turning right. And we will just check off if they were successful, the 12.5 second marker or not. And now they have a report card, if you will, that you can give to them. And we're going to record this on our own personal sheet as well, so we can contact and reach back out. Our side of this has all their contact info, yada, yada. We'll ask them all that as we go. But this is the one they get. And so what they see is they're not in great standings for their age. They've got some areas to be concerned with. Their scores were rather low and not great, and they're a fall risk, right? And so you say, like, take this home and put it on the refrigerator, which most won't do. But the whole idea is like, we want everybody to see this. So if their scores are great, hey, you're awesome. You're anti-sarcopenic. Keep doing whatever you're doing. But if not, now we've got an opportunity here to kind of show you you're not in the best shape. Hey, I've got the answer. It's right here. Why don't you come in for our free first workout, yada, yada, and then off you go, okay? Great opportunities to collect data so we know where they're starting, but also this is a way now to earn in some new business for us, okay? So there's your screen, and that's definitely the initial, like the first day. Here's our first fitness day, our birthday now, fitness birthday of collecting info from them. We're ready to roll. All right, number 3 is don't be good at this, be excellent, right? You want to be able to produce results. You want to share these results on social media. You want to share them via email. You want to share them in all of your postings, all of your worlds. You want to have it inside your facility, pictures up, handouts you can give out to people. You want to tell their stories. And the reason for that is about 98 to 97% of new business comes from where? Referrals. And yet we will spend somewhere around 90%. I think I'm jumping my next slide, but they'll spend somewhere around 90% of a marketing budget on trying to pursue new leads for new business to come in. And very rarely is that towards referral programs. People will offer referral programs, but they won't market the referral program. They'll just say, we have one in case anybody asks, but then let's go cover the neighborhood in flyers, and let's go buy a radio ad, and they'll go do all this other kind of stuff, which, yeah, is old school, newspaper ads and handing out, outside Safeway and the grocery stores, handing out flyers. Like if you're brand new to an area and you're not established and have 0 clients, we might need to do that. But outside of that, if you have a couple of clients, every single one of your clients has family, they have friends, and they have acquaintances, coworkers, right? If I can get them to invite one of those people, well, now I've got 3 more people to reach from that person. And so each current client of yours could really be 3, 6, 9, 12, like that many more individuals. You simply need to ask them and or show them a reason to ask them. And what I mean by that is Joyce has a bad back. Joyce fell and broke her hip on ice. Joyce was carrying in a container of laundry soap and a heavy grocery bag, fell and broke her back and her forearm. So she's had a lot of injuries, and you'll be able to see her struggling after this hip injury on the left there, barely able to get up and down from a 24-inch box. And let's see how long we trained for. What do we have? 35 days later, she's holding 9 pounds. She's down to an 18-inch box. and she's, repping out double the rep counts from where she was, not more than just a little more over a month. So that kind of highlight you could put out there and say, yep, Joyce has a back and a hip issue. The fall when she broke her hip, that's the next one. Oh, reaching her arm over her head, that's the next one. She's had all these issues, all these breaks, all these falls, all due to ice for the most part, other than the laundry one. And these limitations that she has, most people will look at that and be like, well, this is something that we're going to have to deal with the rest of our life. And Joyce works her way back through them, giving, number one, a great inspiration to people her age to say, you don't have to live with these limitations and just be stuck with what the doctor told her. You're never going to put your arm over your head again, right? And we sent a video back to her reaching 180 degrees overhead, kind of chuckling and laughing. I was like, what did your doctor say, Joyce? And she's like, he told me I'd never be able to do this again. And I start laughing as well. And that's, the inspiration that you can put out there for somebody else to go, well, she had a bad back. I have a bad back. I wonder if I could do that too. And they know Joyce because I've tagged Joyce in these social media posts and told her story. And people start, again, putting the math together here and going, okay, if Joyce is getting better going to this guy, maybe I should go in and see him too. And often it'll be someone just making the simple comment of, Joyce, you look great. Your back looks so good. My back's killing me. I wouldn't be able to do that and haven't squatted like that in years. Well, that's a person that I can message and say a private message and say, hello, Joyce's friend. I saw your comment on Joyce's thing. If you ever want to come in, please feel free. A personal invite, right? So here's how it works. You and I, we just hung out and we get done hanging out and we had a blast. It was so much fun. We laughed. We had good food. This was great. We should totally do it again sometime. And you're like, yep, Rob, we should. And then we shake hands and we walk away. Okay. So that's the first time. Or all of that. We had, oh, this was so much fun. We should do this again sometime. And you go, yeah, Rob, we should. How about March 11th at noon? And right away I go, oh, wow. Like you really want to hang out with me again. Not just like, that'd be nice. Let's do it sometime. This is a specific date and time. You are ready to schedule this now. That's all I needed to say, hell yeah, I'm in. Let's do it, right? You schedule date night. It's not like we should go out sometime this month. We're like, next Friday, this time, the kids are going to grandma and grandpa. We're going to the movies. We're going to go get dinner. It's a personal invite, and you are securing it by offering that one extra word. How about next Tuesday, next Wednesday, this and that. And so that's where the invites on social media, in personal engagements where, you see one of your clients out at a liquor store, like we saw the other night, like we see clients all over the place and we see them, we're like, where are you headed? They start to talk with a buddy like, oh, if you ever want to work out, feel free to come by. I'm in the gym these times, this time. We do all of our orientations and whatnot. Tuesdays at noon. Let me know if you want to come. Here's my card. Make a personal invite. By doing that, using their name, eye contact, handshake, this is all like old school mentality now that anybody under 20 is super uncomfortable with because everything's via text message and nothing's face to face anymore. That older people really appreciate. They appreciate the fact that you're being so personable and that your old school handshake, eye contact, invite in for lunch. Here's my business card. It's not tapping our phones together. Now you have my digital contact info. Like it's old school because our people are old school. And this might be like the last generation of that, but that's okay.
No.
Who's that?
It's Gina. She's been
okay.
in person. But I
what do
would
you got?
say like anybody over 40 appreciates that. So your 40, 50, 60-year-olds, as they age to the 60, 70, 80-year-olds.
Agreed.
You got 30 years. You got 30 years of this mentality, and you're going to bring it back. Because
absolutely. I hope we bring it back.
I hope we bring it back. Handshake and eye contact.
I like getting business cards. I file my business cards. I hold them here. I pin them to boards because I remember the person because how cool their business card is. When you just tap your phone to mine, I don't remember your name the first time I see you.
Let's be real.
I have a really hard time with that.
I've never tapped somebody's phone.
No, well, that's the thing now. Or you scan their QR thing. Yeah, you don't tap strangers. God, I hope not. All right, there's number 3. To assist you in doing that, in becoming the expert that you want to be, is having good programming, okay? Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention our TOA Select program and all of our programming that we offer here. These are all the programs that we offer you every month. We have a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced level of programming. Each one of them, when you click on them, have a full detailed video of you know who. Yep, lucky old me. You get to see my shiny bald head every time, giving you full instruction how to do this mobility menu. Here's the overview for for the month and what we're doing. Here's the beginner workouts, the intermediates, and the advanced, and how they level up 1, 2, 3. The same workout at 3 different intensities, so you can level up your clients depending on what they want. We also have in-house workouts, which are like our big strength and conditioning ones where we use sleds and tanks and everything else. We have basic programming that's just dumbbells and kettlebells and bands only. So you'll be able to access this, get in there. We give you an entire year of programming. You can download, you can utilize these, you can change the logos. You can put your logo in, you can do manipulate it however you want to, but we give you good programming that's a 4-week progression every single month, and they are archived in there for you to take a look at.
Tell the story about, I think, your mom, where she said she came in and she did the exact same thing every single time. Like, that's the thing, is like the older population, like they don't want to.
That's so true.
I mean, a young person too, I mean, our attention spans are much younger, or much
Actually,
slower, but you don't want to come in and do the exact same thing.
So another client of mine named Janine, her husband Howard, I built him a program for like the selectorized machines in 2004. And I saw him again in like 2015. And he's like, I love that program you built for me. And I'm like, which one? And he goes, the machines. And I was like, 2004, the machines? He's like, still doing it. I'm like, you've upped your weights, right? And he's like, not really. it works really good for me. Like that is the mentality of like, I'm just going to put in my Tybo tape and I'm going to do workout number 2, right? The same one over and over again. That's the whole idea of these programs, is that you need progressive overload. We need new challenges. We need new ways to create a cognitive stimulus for our clients where they're not doing the exact same thing, really even once. The same movement patterns, hinges, rows, split stance, overheads, carries, etc., but different stuff every time. They need new challenges, and we teach you how to implement that. So again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. We work really hard on our programming, and it's probably our most purchased and most sought after service is our programming. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. And that's by far something that we would encourage you to check out if you need help with that. All right, number 4, and continue here, sharing your success stories outside of your circle. To be the best trainer, this is the goal, to be the best trainer domestically, you need to start by being the best trainer in your gym. There was a period of time where I was quote unquote known as the smart trainer. Do you know why? Because I was always reading a book and or watching a DVD back in the day, instead of either working out or playing on my phone or doing anything else. I was always studying, like learning something new, researching something about a client. And here's the kicker. 90% of the time when I was doing that, it wasn't my client, okay? What I became known for was being able to take one of my coworkers' clients who would come in, and the trainer would come to me and go, Lisa's got this shoulder thing going on. I can't figure out what to do. Can you help us? And I would do an assessment, and then I would research it, and I would build Lisa a program to do for her shoulder that she would do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then she would train with Justin on Mondays and Fridays, right? And so I would give her homework to do. And I became known as the quote unquote smart trainer in the gym because I would build those things and her shoulder would get better. And instead of the other coaches saying, can you teach me how to do this? They would often just say, could you do this for me? And so we started to provide both. I could teach you how to do it, or I could build one for you. And that was the very, very beginning of TOA and like our idea of maybe we could help some more coaches here and expand out what we're doing. Yeah.
Also, this ties back into the previous slide, but older adults are the king and queen of seeing bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're sitting there
bullshit
and
detectors.
you don't have a program that's progressing and that's thought out, and you're just like, all right, we're going to go over here now, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go over here now, they're going to feel unsafe.
Yep.
They're going to feel like they're not a priority, and they will not want to stay and train with you. You have to have a thought out program design. I mean, my God, for the least for the day, but you should have one for the month.
Yesterday we were at Tumble Time, our gym place for our kids, and shout out, I'm going to throw them under the bus now. And Keegan and I are sitting there watching our coach set up stations for the kids. And she's looking at the one kid going, you do push-ups and you do jumping jacks. And Keegan looks at me and she goes, I bet you the next one's plank. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's just making this up. And she goes, oh yeah. And the next one, she was like, and you do plank. And we both start laughing, right? To a kid, when I talked to Bristol after, she's like, our coach is great. She's so organized. And to me, I'm like, that wasn't organized. The older adult sniffs that shit out right away. They recognize right away, you're just pulling it out of your ass like this. You got to have a good program, right? That really comes into becoming the best coach / trainer in your gym. That's going to stem out now into your neighborhood, right? You need to make efforts to make sure other people know who you are. I want to be known as the smart trainer, but whatever it is, the trainer of lower backs, bad backs, older people, younger people, sports perform, whatever, right? We're all here for TOA, for older adults. So let's stick with that. You want to be known as being the trainer for that. And the cool part too, it's still like the older adult demographic is still not sexy enough for most coaches, most trainers to want to work with them. And yet, this is the demographic. This is a collection of folks that have the money to invest in it, that work really hard, have the best attrition rate. Like they are a committed, diehard crew to a really good coach, right? But you got to know your stuff. And if you don't, you're not going to last. And yet most gyms, where do they put the rookie coaches? With the older people, because they're just like, well, they're going to sit down and do all the machines anyhow. This is fine. If you don't want them to get any better, do that. But if you want them to get better, give them the best coach in the room. Who's easy to coach? Like 18 to 25-year-old athletes. They can do anything. You can do anything to them. They're not going to get hurt. Like the programming there is very simple. You don't have to modify jack. You can just go. But a 79-year-old with 2 hip replacements and a cancer survivor, I mean, you got some stuff to think about. And if you know it, they're going to tell everybody how great you are. So now in the neighborhood, you've become the man or the woman, right? Like you're the one. Then it's going to start to reach out to the city. And this is where you're going to start to want to produce some things. Don't panic, everybody. Produce some things where you might publicly speak. And this adds to your expertise because you're a person out there now teaching others how to do what you do or educating others why you do what you do, why it's important for them to come and resistance train with you. That can reach out to your county and then eventually out to your state and eventually out to your region and then nationally. And you could be like my man, Darnell Clark on here, being on the board of directors with the NSCA, going out to Southeast, Western regions, Hawaii, all over the country, speaking and doing gigs because you've become a national treasure, if you will. National treasure, Darnell. I love you, buddy. National treasure. You're out there speaking and you're a Todd Durkin and you're, Alan Cosgrove and you're a Mike Boyle and you're all these names, Dan John, like all these great coaches we have out there. They have done this. They all started as good coaches in their gym and got better and better and better. And eventually they got to a point where maybe even internationally, right? You get to go out and talk to like 4 people in Iceland. Now, you're going to host some webinars, hopefully host some Instagram and or Facebook Live events as well. These are all great opportunities to share your knowledge. These can start so small. Do a Facebook Live. Get on there and just talk about why it's important to set the mirror in your car an inch higher than normal. Talk about the basic ergonomics of people sitting up nice and tall and how they shrink throughout the day, especially if you're over 50. So if you set the mirror nice and high when you get in, you're going to sit up to your mirror and not slouch down into your vehicle every time. So set the bar high. And that could literally be the post that you put up, right? And talk about why that's going to be such a good thing for their neck and their posture. And you could do a bunch of those, okay? A bunch of them. You could nitpick every little part of the body and go through all that and do a series of those. And those are all little 90-second clips that do what? They make you look good like you know what you're talking about. Because you do. You research a little bit and you give some good advice. It doesn't have to be a 75-minute webinar. It could be these little tiny clips. And as you get better and better and better at them, you can start to do a little bit more. And maybe you eventually get to a point where you invite them in for like an in-house lunch and learn or something along those lines. Referrals are king. I have a good article inside the NSCA's Personal Trainer Quarterly that is now public. So if you want that, email us or shoot us a message. We can send it over to you. Keegan's already making a note. She's going to send it to everybody that's registered on here. We'll get you that article. And it talks about this. 99% of business comes from referrals. I thought it was 97. I think 99 sounds right. And 99% of the marketing goes to non-referral based services, right? Just kind of seems backwards. These events, when we had Be Stronger Fitness, our gym down in Sacramento, these are the ones that got us the most engagement and the most referral opportunities is when we would host a lower back workshop. I think I had like 22 people in my first one. And I'm going to say like 12 were current customers. So that's like 9 or 10, good math, 9 or 10 additional people that came in and probably 5 or 6 of those signed up. And then we did another one that was lower back workshop number 2. And we applied it to, their daily life, not just the basic anatomy, but like how you pick things up correctly and how you walk and how you carry your groceries. And we had 21, 22 again. And we created a whole little series of this. Ergonomics on your posture, your workstation, how you sit in your chair, how you drive in your car, all this. General information about sarcopenia, what that is and why as we get older, if we lose muscle mass and function, how detrimental that is and how the weaker we are and the less muscle mass we have, the higher mortality rate we have, the earlier we are projected to die, the greater the fall risk we are. Go through all these. These are not scare tactics. These are just informational tidbits that you're going to share. And you're like, there's this huge secret that everybody knows about. And it's like 25 to 40 minutes of lifting weights twice a week with me that will really help you not become part of all these statistics that I just gave you. If you would just want to come over and learn about this, I got you, right? You go to a golf event. They have socials every month, like a Tuesday night social. They give everybody food. They are dying for people to come in and do presentations, right? You get up on stage and you go, I want to talk to you about how you can add 7 to 10 yards to your swing. You know why you can guarantee that? Because if they don't lift weights and they simply start to lift weights, they'll add some distance to their drive. Now, they're going to feel stronger. They're going to walk better. They're going to be able to feel more endured when they're playing the game. They're going to be able to carry or pull their cart along with them, or the remote carts now with Bluetooth, whatever else, right? Like they're gonna experience the value of all this just by getting a little bit stronger. And you go in and talk about rotational torque production, right? The biomechanics. You don't need to know anything about golf. What you need to know is, how can I do a dumbbell clean? How can I do a dumbbell snatch? How can I swing a kettlebell? How can I do split squats? How can I do push press? All that stuff's going to make them more dynamic, more explosive, and ultimately into the ball goes all that power, right? They're going to hit the ball further. So you don't need to be a Tiger Woods. You don't need to know anything about golf swings. What you need to do is learn how to make people more powerful. We can do that. We know how to do that, right? Okay, now I'm going to go to REI and I'm going to do a talk at REI about hiking and how to get stronger to do a hike. And you go in there and you do a 10-minute talk at one of their socials. They do them 2-3 times a week, right? Whole Foods offers opportunities like this. Pete's Coffee, Starbucks. You can go in and do these little mini talks all over the place. You simply have to ask their marketing person or their, what's the other guy? Not HR. You know what I mean? One of their marketing people about coming in and doing this. And these are opportunities for you to get in front of people who, notice all those places, those are all amenity type places, meaning you could get 99-cent coffee anywhere else. But if you're going to Starbucks and you're buying a $9 coffee, you're affording personal training, right? And that's exactly the place that we want to be, is where people that are willing to invest in a better product, they are going to see us. Okay. That's how you get in front of them. Garden Strong is one of our most popular things that we've ever run. And it's already going right now. We run it from all the way through February and March, because April 1st is like planting day, right? The first day that you get all your seeds in the ground. We know everybody's going to be out there working in the garden, this and that, taking care of their backs, teaching them how to hinge properly, all that good stuff. Give people a reason to come and see you, right? That lunch and learn, great opportunities there. Get them in the gym, offer a little bit of food, do a little mini talk, show them around, all that kind of stuff. We talked about Facebook, YouTube, show your expertise. If you don't have a YouTube channel, start one up. Start doing little mini talks, right? You can set up your phone. Rode, the company Rode, R-O-D-E, that's who I use for my mics. They have a brand new mic system that plugs right into your phone and hooks onto your collar for like $199. You get a high quality mic, set up your phone, have the gym behind you, and away you go, right? You don't need a huge, studio with all the mics and everything else. Just get a little hookup and you're ready to roll, gang. This can be done very simple. You just need to start to showcase your skill set and showcase your knowledge to everybody. What do we got in the chat? Anything?
Lisa was just sharing about with FitBody Forever members. They present at a gathering every month where they do different topics such as stretching and mobility, foam roller stretching, and different things like that, and that the members really love it. And it also gives the coaches a great opportunity to practice presenting. Very
good. Yeah, getting in front of people is, especially if you're a younger coach, getting in front of older people can be very, very nerve-wracking, right? And if you don't know what you're talking about, they're gonna eat you alive. All right, let's wrap this up here. We got about 15 more minutes. The mentoring program that we offer in-house, see this one on the top left, the Golf Strong, tennis, hiking, etc. These are pre-made webinars that we give you to go and produce. So the slides are made, the talking points are made. You can put your logo on it and then off you go. We have opportunities for mentoring where we provide you with newsletters, and we have some social media posts, and we have some forms, your liability form, your sarcopenia screen, your intake forms, all that kind of stuff. We provide all that, schedules for social media pieces. These are some of the examples of our social media pieces that we put out that we utilize with our affiliates, with our junior affiliates, and with our mentees. So if you need any assistance with this kind of stuff, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to talk. And some of our spotlights on our trainers, as much as we want you to brag about your clients, we like to brag about our clients, and our clients are our trainers. Todd is one that we really like. We like highlighting everybody, but Todd had these numbers. We started off, he had about 30 to 35 clients when we first started. He now has 4 employees. He's a fourth. 4 employees, 110 clients. He has 2 locations, one kind of built inside another one. He's got like a subspace in there and is absolutely crushing it right now. And Todd, when I look at the hard work and the dedication, someone on a bi-weekly, every other week, he and I meet and we give him homework, we give him direction, we give him some ideas of things to do, and he goes and implements them, and he just chews this information up. The guy is always going, always working hard. This is exactly everything as we kind of built this webinar down. And it was basically just like, what do we do with Todd? And Todd crushes it. Jerry does the same. Jen does the same. Jen's crushing it out in Wisconsin, has a whole program, 2 full classes of clients with Parkinson's disease that she trains. And she is known in the entire state of Parkinson's as the Parkinson's coach to go to. She's pulling people from like 2 hours away that drive all the way to her to train for an hour and then drive 2 hours back. Okay, we got people going from all over the states coming to see people. Sharon has 2 locations now. One's like 5,000 square feet. She started with us back in 2021. Jerry's our OG back in 2020, like through the pandemic, helping him rebrand and rebuild his business and get come back up, rise from the ashes, if you will, as we work our way through that really difficult time. We've had great opportunities to work with some awesome people, and we would love to be able to do that with any of you if you need our assistance. All right, our last one. Be a professional. I'm going to show you something here in a second, and it's 100% true. Like, this is my schedule. So when you see it, and if you think like that's not right, it is. Okay, I promise you. Consistency is key. Daily successes are based on your daily routine. I really encourage you to create a schedule and do your best to keep it. Okay? You want to be someone that is reliable and someone that others can count on, and having a schedule that you are able to dedicate time to get things done and to work on is super important to being a really good professional. Take ownership always, if it's good or bad, right? If I screwed up, my bad. If it was great, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked out. I really appreciate it. And you continue to move on. Be a representative of your product at all times. Okay. You, meaning you are taking care of you. You are committing to being strong and being fit and eating well and be an example of your service. For 7 years, I was not. I was a complete walking hypocrite. I was committed to my business and doing everything I could to make as much money as I could for my family. And I lost sight of the mission. The mission was, I want to take care of my customers and be the best professional that I can be. And in return, the finances of being so committed to my people will follow, right? And so instead of saying, I need to find one more client and that's worth $300 a month, that's not the way to look at it. You want to say, I want to connect with one more person and help change their life. And that $300 will then just follow. And that person's going to stay because they see how seen they are when they're with you. That's what they value the most. But if you come in and you're like, yeah, I don't really do any of the stuff I talk about, I just want you to do it, they're going to see through that, right? I hid it for a long time. And because I'm a bigger stature, I got away with it, where people were just like, oh, he's just a big, strong guy. I didn't lift weights or train for 7 years. Both of my hips went bad. My back went out. I was just in pain all the time. I was super overweight, just miserable body-wise, but we were having a great time and great success with our business. So I just kept charging along. And then COVID happens and our gym shuts down, and now I can't work, I can't make a living, and my body's a piece of shit. And so I'm like, all right, something's got to change. I'm going to start leading my ADL, like my basic elementary class. I'm going to start leading that. And by starting at that elementary level and slowly progressing up, I was able to do exactly what I would do with a client and be able to overcome my limitations and literally became a product of my service, right? Of what I offer. And not only have I gone through with the hip replacements and cancer, all the other stuff we've gone through, I got to go through my own program and literally become a product of it. And so that's something that I have a lot of pride for, and I'm never going back to my dad bod. Like, my goal is never to go back to that. I want to be able to stay strong and fit and be capable and not be worried constantly that I'm going to throw my back out, and be able to run after the ice cream truck when I need to, get it in fourth gear and get after some stuff. But you got to exercise, you got to take care of yourself, and any other routine that goes with that. If you're an ice bath person, do it. If you like to go hiking or rucking, do it. If you're a hot tub, whatever it is, this is part of you being a solid professional. Sleep. Recover, hydrate, eat well, your mental mindset, all this is super important, okay? And then the last part of this too is build a good team of people to work with around you, and or find a great partner, or both, because the partner, the person that you have in life, is the only person that you get to pick. This is one that we took away from a very recent learning, a very recent Coach V talked to me about this, and Barrett also echoed it. That you don't get to pick your parents, and you don't really get to pick your kids, but the person that you get to live with and be with for your life, that's the only person that you get to pick who you want to be with. And that person can make or break you. And I'm blessed to have the person that I have, and I'm so happy with the decision that I made to pursue her and win her heart in the days that I came walking across the track at Sac City, and was amazed by how good her English was. I thought she was a Russian javelin thrower, as I had heard around the water cooler. And 2 years later, we were married. There we go. 2.5 years. Do the basics really, really well. And so what that looks like, it's on the next slide. What that looks like is earning your CPR, your AED, first aid certifications that, I gave you a Red Cross, American Heart, etc. All the other ones there. Earning and maintaining your accredited certification. A lot of people get this in the beginning and they let it slide. If anything ever happens to you where you are going to be sued or anything else, and you don't have an accredited certification, in many cases, your insurance is going to drop you. They won't even pursue helping protect you, because you didn't do the basic thing that you agreed upon in the beginning. I was like, you're first aid certified, right? Yep. And you have a certified accredited certification? Yep. All right. You had that when you bought this insurance, but if you don't maintain it, some of them will drop you, right? Not all of them, but some of them, you need to maintain this. And think, if you're ever in court and, Tom Cruise is, I want the truth. And you're like, I can't give you the truth because I actually didn't maintain it, right? Like, it makes you look really bad that you did not do the very bottom standard that we have in our industry of at least maintain an accredited certification. Get continued education every single year. That's just at least one conference a year. You can do that, right? Get and or maintain your professional liability insurance. Get a mentor, right? Never stop learning, never stop improving. Set goals every year. Keegan and I do a sit down every year, like right at the end of December, and we lay out, here's what we did this year, here's what we want to do in the next year, and we set up all of our goals and where we're going to shoot for this year and what we want to do, what numbers we want to achieve, what trips we want to take. These are personal goals too, right? So they're personal, professional, financial, emotional. You set up all those goals in there. And then professionals do the basics, and they do them every year, and they do them every day. And the efficiency to this is really important. All right, here we go. Here's the schedule. Schedule every minute of your day if you can. It doesn't have to be like this specific, but if you want to, it's fun to play along. Try to keep that schedule as best you can, like literally down to the minute. Work on multiple projects at the same time. That was a hard one for me. It was learning how, because when I was just TOA, I could just build a project, and when I was done with it, I'd go on to the next one. Well, now with FitBody, I've got like 8 projects I got to work on, and I've got to keep all of them moving, right? Slowly along. I can't just focus on one. So I had to learn a little bit of a system to help me do that. Progress each with a little dedicated, what I call a work window, a timed work window, and be able to kind of progress your way through this. So 2:20 a.m. I wake up, I do my morning routine. You know what that means. 3:30, I'm dressed, I'm dressed, I'm ready to work out. I do my workout, warm up for about 90 minutes. 4:45, I go up and wake up my wife, Sleeping Beauty. She's up and ready. 5 o'clock, we hit the showers, right? Get showered up, I get breakfast, I'm ready, I eat, I'm ready to go. Clients, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 5 hours of clients. At 11, for an hour, I work on my TOA 3-tier programming. At noon, I have a lunch date with my wife. Hey, and at 1 o'clock, I have TOA education work. At 1 o'clock, TOA education work. At 2 o'clock, I have a FitBody boot camp course development that I start on right now. It's menopause. We're building that one. And then I have the calendar I have to work on at 3. Then it's family time. Then we do dinner. Then we shower and clean up at 6:30. And then at 7, we're reading or watching Tim the Toolman, something like that. I might watch a show too. Bedtime routine by 7:30, 7:45 in bed, lights out around 8, 8:15. I get about 6.5 hours of sleep, ready to go the next day. Okay. Every day we have it kind of scheduled out like that, bullet point by bullet point, hour by hour. So I know if I need to build 3, 4 different things at the same time, at least I get an hour, an hour, an hour, an hour. And if I can keep doing that every other day or so, I can keep all those projects moving at the same time. Where in the past, I would just be like every hour would be the new eccentric course, eccentrics, and that was all I would work on for a week. Well, now you got to be able to have multiple windows, multiple projects moving at the same time. Okay. Does everything on your schedule benefit you and your family? If there's times in here where you're scheduling something that's not benefiting you, then get rid of it, especially if it's doing any kind of harm to you, right? And what does that mean? Like if you're having any wasted times or efforts, or and I mean by that is like dead time, social media, anything. I don't mean that you can't have time to like blow off steam and just play around and have fun. We have family time. We have our weekends for that kind of thing. You want to be as efficient and as effective as you can with every minute inside your schedule there. All right, team, to wrap this up, I hope you got great value out of this. Number one, remember, earn your spot at the table. Don't forget your mission. Be better than good. Be excellent. Share your successes and be the ultimate professional. If you have any questions, feel free in the chat. We can hammer it. I'm actually done on time, actually 5 minutes early. I think the extra 15-minute window was a good call, so I'm happy about that. Feel free to reach out, email us, and then Keeg, as she said, we'll be emailing you. We'll send you the article, the slides for today, the screen, what else? Anything else that we want to put in there? We'll make sure we get all that sent over to you. All right, any other comments, questions, anything like that? Thank you for the great information. It's been very informative and inspiring. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. Got to sign off, have an assessment. There you go, Fit Body, Elise, good job. Lots of good comments here and engagement with everybody. All right, what else we got up on here? Great webinar, Robert and Keegan. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate that. Darnell, this was great, Robert. Thank you. Thank you, my man. Miss you, buddy. Sorry I won't be at Nationals this year, but in the future, we'll be back. And I owe you a hug for every year that we miss, all right? Always learn a ton. Thanks. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. Phyllis, excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Phyllis. Appreciate it. All right, we'll hang around here for another minute, but if any other questions want to come through, throw them in the chat. Happy to answer for you. Don't be afraid to head over to the website. Check us out there. YouTube, Robert Linkul on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You'll see all our materials there. If you go over to trainingtheolderadult.com, right when you hit the website, just wait like 2 seconds, and you'll see our newsletter pop up. You can put your email in there, get our TOA Tuesday newsletter that comes up. We've got great information in there. Talks about events and any other offerings we have coming out your way. And yeah, I think that's about it. Every week we try to put out at least one new YouTube video, sometimes 2. We have a 2-part series on arthritis right now. First one was introducing the arthritic grace period. That one's about 30 minutes. It's on YouTube right now. And then the second one comes out on Sunday morning, I believe. You'll see part 2 of that will come up. So hit that, subscribe, and you won't miss anything we put out. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing you in Iceland. By the way, 4 more people live here. Hey, help us out. We need people in our course. Yes, please, please, please. Help me recruit. I will take care of you. We are doing our 2-day TOA certification in Iceland on the 8th and 9th. 8th and 29th. We're doing like 3 hours on the 28th and then 8 hours on the 29th, right there at the university. I would love for you to come. We really want to get some people in there. We have the Sarcopenia conference that we're doing at the university with Arnar and the whole group there, and we are coming to you live. So please help us out. Share the word. You'll see it on our social media. We really want to get some people in that. So we would love to have some help. We'll do. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Iceland. Oh my gosh. Finally got somebody to engage with us. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's cool. We really look forward to seeing you, and we'll get some high fives and some hugs for sure.
Our igloo. We're staying in the igloo.
Oh, we're staying in an igloo. We are so excited about this. I don't remember the name of it, but our last day there.
It's B-U-U-B-L-E in
Booble.
O-F. It's outside of Selfa.
Ulfstrecka, something like that. So it's like a giant igloo basically, but it's see-through, and we're going to be out in the woods, and you can sleep under the stars, and it's a big, nice, fancy bed, and basically just that. It's like a bed and like no food. There's a little community bathroom. I'm really excited. We've seen this before, and we're like, oh, how cool would that be? You just get to like be out in the wilderness and watch. So cool. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be a good one.
Lights still there?
Yeah. Do you still have Northern Light visuals? Do you get to see those at night? Let us know there in the chat if you're still there. We are going to go to the Blue Lagoon, of course. We are going to go to Husafelt because I want to see if I can pick up the Husafelt stone, which I doubt I can now, but I'm bringing my belt and my chalk just in case. And I'm kidding. I don't want to end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Last time I was there with Rick did it. He actually carried it for a bit.
Well,
It's like 325 pounds, something like that. He does. He's a stud. But yeah, we got some good plans. If you have any suggestions too on where we should go, let us know. All right, team, we'll let you all out of here. Have a great day. We appreciate you all. Until next time, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia, and we will see you then. Take care.
I have to get going really soon.